How's it going, traders? Welcome to Stock Talk for the week of May 20th. Let's look at SPY on the 180-day chart. Thank you again, everybody, for tuning in, watching these videos, and I hope everyone learns a little bit from these videos as we move forward, or lot. It's up to you. So let's look at SPY on the 180-day chart. I'm using the Think or Swim platform. We usually go through the markets first because that kind of tracks the general market movement. Most of the stocks, or some of the stocks, do follow the market, so that's why we go over the markets. Then it is followed by commodities, and then we finally, near the end, we talk about the tickers that you guys called out. So yeah, let's start with SPY, and we're looking on the 180-day chart, and we see that there has been a support around 270 to 271. Our position in the last 2 to 3 days, and this was Thursday and Friday, was that we know that SPY had a continual 8 days of uptrend, right? It kept going higher and higher, and we know that it has to breathe because is because we know that it's broken over its major bearish pattern on the 1-year chart. This was the major bearish pattern that was pulling the markets down. Now that we've gone over it, I don't really mind, like I said, kind of consolidating at the support. And you guys can see that I drew a box in last time, or maybe this time, from 270 to 271. As long as we can close in or above this area, I'm still bullish with the markets, and the markets has the potential to hit 277 and higher because we have broken out of the resistance area. And I like this pattern because you can see that the longer we consolidate on here, the market is garnering energy for another push up. That's really positive sign because let's say it tests once, it tests again, and then okay, that is a confirmed support. If we test it 2 times or 3 times, then it can go up. And that's usually what I like to see. So far, I'm still bullish as of now because we haven't had a close under 270 or under 270, 271. I'm still bullish with the markets. Okay, let's look at TVIX, which tracks volatility. So we saw that on Friday, the markets were generally even. The markets didn't move that much, and volatility, as expected, still kind of held its support. But remember that if the markets do continue to push up, volatility has a good chance to push below this support. This may be very temporary because you guys can see that we've broken out of the bearish pattern on SPY and generally the markets, and as we push higher, we expect these support points, or these temporary support points, to continue to break. If you guys don't think that this is a support, I really don't mind that as well. If your perspective is that, oh, this is really not a support because look at this, rejected by the 20 EMA, which is represented by the light blue line, rejected by the 20 EMA, we can get rejected by the 20 EMA, and then we'll see another downturn, right? So that's what I'm looking at for volatility. Looking at commodities really quick, /CL, which tracks crude oil futures. And here we go. Here's crude oil futures. We know that crude oil has a support at 70.80, and it's been making this pretty much just steady climb to the upside. And right now, this is a very healthy climb for crude oil. There's no stop. This is not a pattern of reversal right now. This is a pattern of continually going up to where? Well, I mean, that's anyone's guess, but I'm looking towards 72, 73, $74. Those numbers are certainly possible. You can imagine, look how steady this climb is, and because we're following crude oil, we want to invest in the ticker GUSH. GUSH is a ticker that, if you guys have been watching my videos for the past month, we've said that crude oil has been bullish, right? We've talked about it during this month. We even talked about it, I believe, starting April, right? When we started this uptrend, when I first started this channel, pretty much the first day. I'm not sure if we went over commodities, but you can see that pretty much when we started, it's been on the uptrend, and this is the ticker that we would want to go in because it follows crude oil. So looking at crude oil, we know that there is a support around $39. It's been trending down a little bit, and look how overextended we are. So we want it to come down to the 20 EMA, revalidate this as, I mean, we're pretty certain that this is going to be revalidated. So once it comes down to the 20 EMA, or even perhaps the support, if it does that, those are good entry points in my opinion. So where's a good entry point? If you guys can get in around 40, 80, or $41, then that's a pretty good entry point for now. And then you guys can write it up and then set your stop loss. Well, yeah, and then you can set your stop loss lower from the support. But just know that this is on the uptrend and we are slightly overextended. So let's just wait for it to retrace back a little more if it does that, and then get into a position. If it keeps climbing, are we going to get into a position? We are not going to get into a position because we still, even though this is bullish, it's steadily climbing up, right? We still want to go into a good position. It'll make you feel more comfortable once you take that position if you got in a good price. If you got in at $43, you're going to be like, oh man, is it going to go up there? Is it going to go up in the next day? I'm going to be constantly watching every hour to see it if it hits $43. All right, we don't want that kind of mentality. The mentality that we do want is, okay, I'm at a really good buying point. Should it go down, okay, I'm just going to stop loss out. But chances are GUSH is going to go up in the next hour, in the next 6 hours, tomorrow, and it'll go above my buy price. That's the mentality that we want when we're investing in stocks or ETFs. So looking at GUSH on the 3-year chart, this has been pretty obvious in such that, right, here's the 3-year chart. We do peak to peak, and we have broken out. This is a clear breakout. Yeah, so this is a clear breakout. No sign of a reversal. I just want to tell you guys that right now there is no sign of reversal. This looks like GUSH has the potential to hit what prices? 43, 45, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, possibly even to 50. I mean, right now this is just like the pretty much the trend that we want to see when it starts climbing for crude oil. So no reversal yet, but this is just one to keep an eye on in the next few days. Look at the MACD, right, guys? Look how MACD is still trending higher, no stop. All buyers right now. So let's look at DRIP, which is the inverse of crude oil. So here is DRIP on the 3-year chart, and we see that as GUSH keeps moving higher, we see DRIP making 3-year lows, and we're currently at $6.27. So I know some of you guys are thinking like, well, Kevin, look how much DRIP has fell, right? It's been falling a lot, and I feel like this is a good buy point. So you guys told me this or talked about this during this day, right? At the close of Thursday, I think some of your comments were like, well, you guys can get into DRIP now, and you can, I think GUSH is overextended. And if you did get in, I hope you got out by the end of day on Friday, because yes, you did make a profit of 2.96%, but just remember that you are investing in a downtrending ETF making 3-year lows. Now, this is Thursday. It made another 3-year low. So let's look at the 1-year chart and see, is there any stop? No. On the 3-year chart, we kind of looked at this. Look how kind of just deteriorating. So we have these boxes on the 1-year chart on DRIP, which represents breakdown areas of major supports, and it keeps going lower, right? When it breaks down the major support here, it keeps going lower. Broke the major support here, it keeps going lower. This was a major support pretty much on April 17th. It broke it, and now it's just dropping. No end in sight right now, so let's get into GUSH and not get into DRIP. Looking at /GC, which tracks gold futures, this is a more interesting pattern because we talked about gold, right, trying to head back to the 20 EMA, and we closed pretty much right at the 20 EMA on the 180-day chart. We know that gold, or /GC, has broken a support at 1312, and then we know that the next support is around 1270, like 1271, 1270, but there's still no confirmation or reversal, right? This is not really a very definitive support area right here. If you can imagine, this is not a very good support. And so, right, even if it starts U-turning, look at what happened here, right? It did kind of a U-turn at the support, and then it dropped. I can still see it get rejected by the 20 EMA at some point and continue to drop. So does that make you go into JDST? JDST is inverse gold, right? So it kind of tracks the US dollar. If gold is plummeting, we do expect JDST to increase. So, wow, I have not updated JDST in a long time, so let me remove these So right now, look how every time we hit the red line, which is the 200 SMA, we've pretty much almost gotten rejected, right? Look, we hit the 200 SMA and we got this rejection signal. So what are we waiting for, right? So right now we're waiting for it to either do a double peak and re-hit the 200 SMA and head down, in which we want to invest not in JDST but in JNUG, or if it does break below the 20 EMA, you could take a position on JNUG. That is just something that I'm looking at. Are we going to get into JDST? No, because we're pretty much at the resistance area. Looking at JNUG, right? We know that JNUG has been holding the support, and we can argue that this was a slight break below support, but you can easily say that, oh, Kevin, the support line is like this. Then that looks way more promising, right? So it doesn't really, there's some sort of degree of, uncertainty in terms of where the support is. But if you wanted to give it a little more leeway, that's perfectly fine. And you can see that we're pretty much at the support. We were at the support here. We're at the support again here. It's just that we need to see 4/GCs to start reversing a more definitive reversal before we do take a position on JNUG. But JNUG could be a possible play because we're at the support. And that's just what I'm seeing. Even though 4/GC has still potential to fall. This is what I talk about. One is telling us that the future is telling us that it's going to fall, but JNUG looks like it's holding its support. So what do we do? So at this time, if you want to take a position, you set a stop loss. And you should be setting stop losses for every stock, but if you get into ETF, this one especially, make sure you do set your stop loss. All right, 4/NG, which tracks natural gas. So natural gas has been pretty much making higher highs, right? We have actually talked about a natural gas trend, and you guys can see that it's been making higher highs every time. It's been making higher lows. This higher low line has been here for a very long time. So it's been making a higher low, and you can see that we're pretty much overextended. And it looks like natural gas is about to start coming back down again. So the thing about natural gas is I don't like to invest in DGAZ right now, because DGAZ, even though natural gas has the potential to come down, right? The potential to come down is there. You might make 3% or 4% or maybe even 6% on DGAZ, but I'd much rather, with this kind of pattern, invest in UGAZ, or that follows natural gas, than DGAZ. So once it starts coming down, that's when I would take a UGAZ position and then follow it higher, because this is trending higher, right, guys? You guys can, if you wanted to, you guys can certainly take in a DGAZ position right now, but look where DGAZ is right now. Right, DGAZ broke below its support. This is pretty much its 3-month support of around 25.35, and now we're pretty much under it. So you guys can see that, there's still a ways to fall should it continue to go down. And this is a downtrending. It's currently downtrending right now. So the one that you do want to go into is UGAZ. Okay, so let's look at some tickers that you guys called out. So the first ticker, let me just take a look, from Trader Princess. Hey, how are you doing, Trader Princess? Let's see. Hey, Kevin, please break down Square in your next video. Sure thing. So Square. Whoa, not this one. So Square's ticker is SQ, and we talked about Square, right? What did we talk about? We talked about Square having a resistance at $58.25 or $58 for pretty much. And remember what I talked about in terms of an exit price? I said the good exit price is not to hit the previous high, but go a little under it. So $56 would have been a good high. But then once again, you would have been like, Kevin, how did you know that this was the high? How did you know that this wasn't the high? Well, so I usually trade a little more conservatively, and that means I do not play by the previous high. I always go a little more conservative. I buy near the bottom. I buy and sell more conservatively near the higher end. So once we near the upper end, I'll just sell it, and then especially once it starts trending down, that's the good time to sell. And you guys can see that we're very close to the resistance. So right now, look how we got an uptrend, and all of a sudden we broke under. And then we also formed this nice reversal candle, right? These are, again, once pretty nice reversal candle right here. And you can see that we broke under the 20 EMA on Friday, but kind of pulled back up. This is still a bullish sign for Square, and I can still see this going to $58. But I would have, if you guys were in a Square position, I would have released my shares around $56. Now, you guys might be asking, is this a good buying area? So the question is, do you feel like the percent gain, or 4 to 5%, is justified for the percent loss, which is around 4%? I would say no, not right now, especially when we're so close to the resistance. If you would have had bought down here, well, you might be like, well, Kevin, you're right. It's not time. Square isn't down here anymore. We can't talk about it. But what I'm saying is, if you're buying near the support, you have a more comfortable position. If you start buying here, you're going to be a little tense and a little, stressful every single day, thinking, oh, am I going to make money? Can I break even? Blah, 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 blah. And those emotions might impact your trading. And then you trade out. All of a sudden, you sell it, and because you're losing money, and then it starts spiking up, and you go haywire. So we don't want that to happen. So this is not a very good entry point. Let's see what it does. Should it start breaking over the resistance, I can completely revisit Square and, yeah, go back in it, right? But not right now. So you guys can imagine I did buy in at 51.72. I did, or 50.72, I think, and then I sold it around 54.40, around here. I got, and then I also got in at $49 and sold it around 50 something. So those were my 2 trades for Square, but I'm not currently in Square. All right, Michael, any chance you can look at GRPN? Love your videos. Thank you for watching these videos, Michael. I'm glad you're here. Welcome to the channel. So, okay, let me just look really quick. Okay, I'm liking this one. So I like this one. Yeah, so I like this one. The reason is, look where we bounce on the 180-day chart. We pretty much, every time we hit pretty much the blue line, right, we've kind of bounced. So we hit this blue line. Actually, we hit the green line, which is the 150 SMA, and we started bouncing. And then we're now down here. So right now, I like this trend. I like this trend, right? This trend right here. But look, we're under the 20 EMA. Let's wait for it to catch up to the 150 SMA and then invest. I like this higher low. I like this higher high. This earnings spike is kind of a little bit concerning. Kind of shows you where we can peak at right here. But right now, let's wait for it to hit around $4.80, $4.75. Make it do a U-turn. Right, you guys can see that we did a U-turn on this day on the first 4-hour candle. That's when we would buy in, because we're pretty much at the support. When we hit there and it starts to trend up, that's when you can take a position and set your stop loss lower than the support. Good call out. I like this trend, and looking at the 1-year trend, you can even see it better, right? You guys can see that it's been trending higher. Actually, if you pull this line like this, right, even if you pull this, like, there's still a ways to fall. So let's not get into it right now, but let's wait for it at least next day or 2 or 3 days and see what happens. Jerison, could you break down AMAT? I think we broke this one down in the past, right? And we talked about AMAT in such that we're not going to hold it during earnings, especially when we're near the peak. So, right? Okay. This pretty much what we expected is what happened. So earnings, we have this massive sell-off, this massive volume spike. So ask yourself, this is a declining stock, lower high, lower low, and this low is really steep. It's almost at a negative 45-degree angle. This is not something that we want to go in, because, once it falls, look, it fell 8.25%. If you can imagine getting into this stock and then you losing in one day 8.25% of your portfolio, that's very concerning. So this is not something that I would go in right now, because there's no signs of reversal. Okay. Hey Ben, can you look at EXTR and Roku analysis? So it looks like we've gone over EXTR as well. EXTR has been making this lower high in the 180-day. It's been making this lower low, and then you can see that earnings, the catalyst, brought it all the way down. And I just this one, I think, just reference what happened in the previous downtrend, right? Look at the earnings sell-off. It kept going lower and then bottomed out. And then it went higher to test the 200 SMA, and then it got rejected, and then it came back down. So we're right now, yes, it's trending higher, but the overall pattern is going lower high, lower low. So yes, I can agree. There's a potential that it will hit the 200 SMA, but at the same time, look at this, right? It started trending a little high before it starts coming down. I just don't want to invest in something that has the potential to go down soon. It might not go to the 200, it might just go here and then starts coming down, or it might just start coming down. The chance of it coming down is still higher based off of this trend than it going up. And even though, you know, I can say that, oh, there's a good chance that it can go up, you know, this is just, right, not something I would want to hit especially when we hit the 1 year low a couple days ago. So, yep. Okay, Eric, thank you again for the video. It's insane how bullish GUSH has been. If you have any chance, can you break down eBay to get a stock to look at? Okay, yeah, fantastic. So yeah, GUSH has been extremely bullish, and right, I think people who watch this channel, whether you're new or returning, you guys hopefully aren't too surprised that GUSH has been trending higher. I haven't really been surprised because we've been talking about GUSH being bullish for the past month, right? So we expected higher prices, and we expected, especially on GUSH, that we broke the 3-year trend, and it was a breakout signal. We know to go into GUSH at that point. So hopefully you guys are into it, and you guys were able to take advantage of that position. Oh, eBay. Okay, so here's eBay, right? And clearly on the 1-year trend, we see that eBay has been pretty much on the downtrend lately. And you guys can see this downtrend. So right now for eBay, there's no sign of a reversal just yet. We know that there's a support, right? It's trending up and now it's trending back down. There is a support possibly around 34.56. Look how close we are. We're pretty much $4 to $34, 34.56. So eBay is certainly something to watch, I think, because it will start trending up at some point. It's just not right now. So there's still ways to fall. Look how we got rejected pretty much at the 50 SMA, right? And then now it's trending back up and might still, you know, keep falling. Now, until we see a sign of reversal, that's when we take a position. But for now, this is downtrending, and look at this descending triangle. Not something I would like to participate in at this time. Okay, Zach. So I'm going to read all your comments. Your comments are very inspiring, right? So Zach, Kevin, I actually bought GUSH at $21.75 and sold at $32.75. Okay, let's see where you bought it at. That's a really good price. $21.75. Okay, somewhere around here, and you sold it at $32.75. Great job. That is. See, so one thing you guys can learn from, you know, that pattern is that's a fantastic entry and exit point. We talked about a resistance around 33.48 for GUSH, and so this person, Zach, got in around this area and got out at pretty much the breakdown area of the previous candle, and this is the perfect time to get out. Then you might be like, well, you guys are wrong because it broke out. Well, this is why we don't. You know, there's a good chance that GUSH would start trending down at that point, right? But since it broke out, you can re-enter that position and then ride it back up. But you guys can see that this is a very good exit point right here. Good job. How much lower do you expect DRIP to go down before reversal? 10% and what percent? So I don't know when it will go down, right? No one knows. And I don't want to speculate how far DRIP can go down. It can go down to $4 or $3 for all I'm concerned. It doesn't really matter to me. It just matters to me when I see a confirmation of reversal. I don't know when that will happen. It might be 2 weeks from now. It might be next week. But right now, there's no confirmation. Until we see some sort of confirmation, crude oil is going to be bullish. So, yeah. Okay. Cool. So, Coolio, hello. Once more about something about DRIP. I don't try to catch knives. I never recommend. But, man, DRIP is at a very nice price point given how overextended CL or GUSH has been. So, yeah. So, I think we talked about that earlier, right? How you guys talked about on Thursday night how drip is a little more bullish. But look, you guys talked about drip being bullish and for Thursday night. So if you're playing the short-term pattern, you know, that's kind of like a guessing game. Yes, it's overextended. And, you know, yes, it's overextended and it went up only 3%, right? So if you rode it all the way pretty much to the end of day, you got 3%. And just think how GUSH, remember last week, one day, like GUSH went up 9%. So just compare your benefits. Drip benefits 3% risky, GUSH 9% not as risky. So just compare, you know, what you think. All right, I think there was one more that one of you, I think Trader Princess, I think you called this one, which is Cost or Costco. And this is the last ticker I'm going to go over. If you guys have any more tickers you want me to go over, just comment down below. So Costco, right? Costco generally has held this horizontal pattern. You guys can see this horizontal pattern, and we're pretty much still at the horizontal pattern. Look at this. We know that there's a resistance at 198.55. Yes, it has peaked over, but we're pretty much at the resistance again. This is not something I would like to participate in because we're at the resistance. We have earnings coming up, and yes, it can start trending up, but again, like, this is just something I would much rather buy at the support. So the support in this case would probably be around here, 190, 188. I would wait for it to come down. If it does start breaking up and breaking higher and confirming this as the new support, that could be a good entry for Costco. Because let's look at the 1-year chart. All right, you guys can see that, right? It's generally on the uptrend. So this is, yeah, I like this pattern too. This is a good pattern. Yeah, see this, guys? Holding a horizontal pattern, break above, right? We're holding a horizontal pattern, and once it starts breaking, it'll break above. You see that? When we do break higher. Reconfirm, break higher, then came down. So, yeah. So I like this pattern, but this is just not the good entry time right now. So thanks guys for watching this video. Like if you like this video. If you didn't like it, I hope you like it in the future, and I hope these tickers that you guys called out, I provided some insight, and everyone you know, had some insights or into calling out why you called that ticker. And let me know what trading practices you've been doing. It looks like some people talked about how you guys saw GUSH or drip as a potential play. So yeah, keep letting me know what kind of trades you guys are in, and if those are really good trades, I'll definitely talk about it during our stock talks. So thanks once again. I will see you guys Monday, tomorrow, for another stock talk. Have a nice day. Enjoy your weekend. Try not to think too much about stocks. Enjoy it. And then tomorrow, let's get back into the horse and make some profits, right? By following technical analysis. I'll see you tomorrow.